How would you train from home to get a physique like Deadpool's? The good news is that just like with the Wolverine training video, you don't need a lot, just a pair of dumbbells, a backpack, and an uncanny ability to break the fourth wall. My name is Devin Ricker, and I'm a personal trainer with a master's in exercise physiology and a certified nerd. With the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie out now, which I love by the way, let me know your favorite part of the movie in the comments down below. I figured it was a good time to create a home training program to help you stretch your genetic potential to achieve a similar physique to that of Deadpool's. So first up, let's actually break down Deadpool's physique so that you know exactly which muscles to focus on. And then we'll actually get into a routine and stick around to the end so you know exactly how many sets and reps to do, and then I'll briefly touch on nutrition as well. Both the comic book and Ryan Reynolds' version of Deadpool are very lean and ripped. They have very similar physiques, so this training plan will help you in the direction of achieving either of those physiques. Alright, so here's the highlight of Deadpool's physiques. From what I've noticed, he has amazing arms. Now that's mostly in the biceps and the triceps. If you can just have really good arms by themselves, you're well on your way to having a physique like Deadpool's. On top of that, and part of the arms actually are the shoulders. It's really important to have really good capped shoulders to make the arms look even better and to give you kind of a wider look and a V-taper to your physique. On top of the arms and shoulders, he also has an amazing chest. You have to have that kind of armor-like physique that comes only with having a really good chest. So if you have good arms, good shoulders, and a good chest, you're well on your way already to looking like Deadpool. The last two muscle groups that we're really going to focus on are the abs. In both the comic and the live action versions of this character, he has amazing abs, so we're going to really hit those hard. And then also, we're actually going to focus on the quads. And most of the drawings that you see of Deadpool, he has amazing quads. You can actually see the separation between the four muscles. So we're going to do a couple of different movements to help you achieve those quads. And of course, because I'm a personal trainer, I want to help you keep this routine really well-rounded. So we're not going to be imbalanced anywhere. We're still going to hit the hamstrings as well as the quads. Just keep all the balance going. But we're going to have a little bit more of an emphasis on those specific muscle groups that I mentioned before. And hey, if you'd like more training programs just like this one, check out my training guides linked below for more character programs. And speaking of programs, let's jump into it. So with this program, we're going to be working out 4 times per week, and we're going to divide that into an upper day, a lower day, an upper day, and a lower day. So let's start with the first upper body day. The very first movement that we're going to do is backpack deficit push-ups with your feet elevated. Now, why do we do deficit push-ups? So we can get an extra stretch in those chest muscles, and research shows us that muscles grow better in the stretched or lengthened position. So if we can stretch out the chest, that's going to be way more efficient for helping us build those chest muscles. Now, why do we have our feet elevated? That's so we can slightly put more of an emphasis on the upper chest. Next, we're going to go into dumbbell rows. Now, I like to do these with 2 arms at a time. You could do single arm as well. Both are really great options. I just prefer 2 because it's just a lot more efficient that way. So whenever you're doing these, make sure that you're stretching those arms all the way down, really like relaxing the shoulders. You can even round the upper back just slightly and then pull them back towards you. You should feel a really good squeeze and contraction on the lift, but also a really good stretch. Next up, we're going to do dumbbell lateral raises. And with these, we're going to add in integrated partials. So that means that you're going all the way up for a lot of your reps, let's say 10 reps, and then we're going to do partials for the next 5. That's kind of like a burnout style technique that hits those muscles on the lengthened portion of the exercise. Next, we're going to go into seated dumbbell curls. Now, if you have a bench where you can slightly put it back in an incline, anything that stretches that arm behind you like that, that's going to be better for stretching out the muscle and therefore growing the muscle. So either way, if you don't have that, maybe kind of just have a really good technique where your chest is up and you're arched back like that. Either way, dumbbell curls, seated, don't use a lot of momentum, don't use any momentum if you can, all the way down, stretch it out, all the way back up. And then finally, we're gonna finish off day 1 with what I call lemon squeezers. I'm sure there's better names for it, but this is what I've always heard them called. But this hits both of the lower and upper abs, so you're really stretched out those abs, and then you bring in your legs, bring in your arms, you crunch everything together, and then you stretch it back out. So that's day 1, that's the first upper body day. All right, so day 2, we're starting with dumbbell elevated reverse lunges. Now, why elevated? That's because we can get an extra stretch, especially in those glutes and also in the quads whenever we go down. And remember what we said about the stretch, the muscles grow better in the stretched position. And then we're gonna go up and down. This is one of my favorite exercises for really hitting the quads and the glutes. After that, we're gonna go into dumbbell single leg RDLs. Say that one 3 times fast. With this exercise, because it's single leg, you can really focus on stretching out the hamstring of each leg, and you don't need a lot of weight. Sometimes if you do dumbbell RDLs like two-handed, you could go up to like 70s, 80s, 90s, 100-pound dumbbells, and you're still not getting as much of a stimulus or a stretch as you would be with like a barbell RDL. So since we're dealing with home weights, which are usually a lot less, like most of my clients that work out from home probably have like 30s and below, this is a great option to just really focus on each hamstring at a time. Next up, now that the quads are pre-exhausted, we're gonna go into dumbbell squats. And so you'll just hold the dumbbell right in front of you like a goblet squat, and you'll go all the way down as far as you can. If you need to elevate your heels, you can put plates, you can put books, you can put whatever you need to right under them. That way you can go down all the way, literally as far as you can go, and then come all the way back up. And you're gonna feel a really good stretch in those quads and glutes that way. It's gonna really help grow those muscles. Up next, we're gonna keep the dumbbells and we're gonna go calf raises. And we're gonna do these 2 at a time. Now you could do them 1 at a time, but 2 at a time in this instance, I think to help save some time. But I like doing 2 at a time in this instance because we're already doing single leg RDLs and we have another single leg movement coming up. And because of that, we'll do both of them at the same time so that we save some time. Make sure with these, you're going all the way down. Your heels are going as far down as you could possibly get them. You're really stretching out the calves and then come all the way back up. And then finally, we'll top off this day with a really tough lift, which is the dumbbell single leg hip thrust. There's a couple of ways to do this, but my favorite way is where you just have one foot on the ground, one foot kind of in the air, the dumbbell on your hips. You go down with your glutes and then come back up, your hip thrust up, and then go back down, come back up. You should feel this really good, not just in the glutes, but in the working hamstring, and make sure to do it on both sides. And side note, before we get to the second upper body day, if you don't have dumbbells, that's totally fine actually. What you can do is just like in our Wolverine training video, you can grab a backpack, put some weight in there. It doesn't have to be dumbbells, it can be books, whatever it is to weigh down that backpack, and then you can get on a scale and kind of see how much it weighs. I think a good starting place to weigh down a backpack is something like 10 to 20 pounds. And then you can obviously add more weight from there. And with that, you can do your curls, you can put it on your back or on the front and do squats. All of the exercises we mentioned, you can pretty much do with a weighted backpack. Okay, so to start off day 2, we're actually gonna do backpack deficit push-ups again, except now we're gonna have a tricep emphasis. And with that, we're gonna have our elbows tucked in. We're gonna bring those dumbbells down and in just to kind of align with the humerus, which is this bone right here in the arm. And we're gonna have the elbows tucked in as you're pressing. And we're gonna press just like that and go to a deficit and then press. And that's gonna be really beneficial for helping you grow those triceps. And now after that, we're going back into that same exercise, the dumbbell rows with both arms at the same time. Then we're gonna go into dumbbell seated lateral raises again. This time, if you want to put the integrated partials in there, you totally can, but no worries if not, as long as we get those in once a week. We're also gonna do dumbbell seated curls again. And like I said before, if you can get an incline on those, that's great, that works even better. And then finally, this ab exercise is something that used to just destroy me, especially like when I was in high school. I would lead group fitness classes like with the football team and stuff like that, and we would always finish with these things. We called them hell raisers, but I think their technical name is leg climbs. So give these a shot and do them on each leg, and I'm telling you, these will absolutely just demolish your abs. You're gonna love this and hate it at the same time. So just when you're doing this, make sure that you have 3 taps. I tap inside the leg below the knee, outside the leg above the knee, and then inside the leg at the foot. If you can reach your foot each time, you know you're doing it right. Now when you go all the way back down, don't just like gently touch the ground. Go all the way down, extend the abs, and then come all the way back up. So for the final day, we have a lower body day, but I'm actually gonna emphasize a little bit more upper body in this as well. So it's technically kind of like a full body day. So we're starting with our dumbbell elevated reverse lunges again, and then our dumbbell single leg RDLs. Those are some of my favorite exercises to really just hit the quads and then balance it out with the hamstrings. From there, we're gonna add back in backpack deficit push-ups with your feet elevated, and then we're gonna do dumbbell curls and dumbbell lateral raises again. So we're doing a lot of curls, a lot of lateral raises, a lot of push-ups. It's really gonna hit those muscle groups that we pointed out in the beginning, being the arms and chest and shoulders. Now that's the actual days and exercises that you'll be doing, but what about the actual sets and reps? So first of all, if you haven't seen my other videos, we have to discuss what a mesocycle is. It's usually about a 4 to 6 week program, and you build up in volume or intensity or both over time, and then you kind of take a deload at the very end. So for the purposes of this routine, let's go 5 to 6 weeks of accumulation. That means you start really light, you build up, you build up, you build up. And then at the end of the 5 weeks, you've hit that peak week, and then the next week you're gonna go down in volume. So if you think of this like a bar graph, it goes up, 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 and then the last week it goes down in volume, which means you take it really easy, and the sets and reps go down quite a bit, and that way you can relax and recover. And then you kind of start the whole process over, but just with some variation, maybe some different exercises that hit the same muscle groups. You can kind of still use the same outline that we used in this video, just change up the exercises a little bit. Now, in terms of sets and reps, you're gonna start with about 2 sets on everything, and the whole cycle, you're gonna go anywhere from 10 to 30 reps. So what it could look like minimum is you start with 2 sets of 10 on everything, and you finish that peak week with like 4 or 5 sets of 30 on everything. So it gets like crazy hard by the end. The first week, you'll probably be like, this is pretty easy. The next week, you'll be like, okay, I'm starting to feel it a little bit. And then by the end, you're gonna be like, I'm glad this is done. I'm dead. Take me out of here. Let's do something different. So if everything feels fine that first week, what I would probably do is take those 2 sets, take the same reps. Let's say you did 2 sets of 10, and then bump it up to 3 sets of 10 the next week. Now, if you want to, you could go up by sets, but that takes a lot of time. So what I would do is go up to 3 sets of 10, and then bump up to 3 sets of like 12, then 3 sets of 15, then 3 sets of 20, whatever it looks like. As long as you're progressing each week, you can progress in reps, you can progress in sets, or you can progress in weight with adding more weight to the backpack or with various sizes of dumbbells. And keep in mind, anything extra that you need to work on, like if you really just need to hit the abs extra, feel free to add in more exercises, like maybe some more ab exercises on that last day, or you can just add in more sets. Anything that you need to work on growing a little bit more, I would probably add in another set or 2. So like if you need to build your chest, maybe finish with like 5 or 6 sets by the end of the cycle. Now that's gonna take you a long time, so there's definitely a trade-off there, but that's how you're gonna really grow your chest. Now this whole program by itself, if you do like 3 sets of up to 25 or 30 reps, you're definitely gonna be growing some stuff. But if there's something that's really lacking behind, maybe you do wanna add in a 4th, 5th, or even 6th set if you're gonna get crazy. But like I said, also don't be working out for like 2 or 3 hours. You're gonna get most of your best effort within the first hour of working out, and everything kind of drops off after that. So let's try to keep this workout to under an hour if possible. And a quick little side note on nutrition. Deadpool has an incredibly ripped physique, whether it's Ryan Reynolds or in the comics. Nutrition is really key. So you're not gonna wanna have a lot of body fat to get a physique that's similar to this. So make sure you figure out your calories. Now you can do that by going online and finding a calorie calculator and just telling it that you wanna lose weight, and it'll show you kind of like a good like general number that you can start at. Let's say it's like 2,000 calories per day, and then track that over the course of the first week. If you're not losing any weight or anything, then what you need to do is subtract about 200 to 250 calories per day for the whole next week, and then track your weight about 2 to 3 times a week. Make sure that you're starting to lose. If you're still not, cut out some more calories. If you're losing, great. You should be losing about 1 pound to 2 pounds per week. Anything more than that, you're probably losing a little bit of muscle. Anything less, you're probably not losing as much as you could. Now with the nutrition, make sure you're getting plenty of protein. Aim for that stereotypical goal of about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And then make sure you're getting a good amount of fats and fill the rest in with carbs. And those carbs, I would recommend in the morning or around your workout window. Do these things on nutrition and really implement that workout routine, and you'll be well on your way to looking like Deadpool. And of course, this 5 to 6 week training plan is only the start to looking like Deadpool. It depends on where you're starting your journey at in general. Do you already have a good base of fitness? Are you overweight? Are you underweight? Whatever it may look like, may take more time to achieve a physique that's similar to this. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.